What's up, movie nerd? It's your girl CC, and let's get candid about The Accountant 2. First off, I watched the original Accountant for the first time a day before I watched the sequel.
And I know what I'm talking about.
Thankfully, I enjoyed this movie. It doesn't follow the common trope of sequels being bad. It was actually a fairly good continuation of the story, although it could have been better. But hey, what sequel doesn't have a bit of room for improvement? One, I think we could have had more intellectual moments, i.e. accounting, instead of fight-em-ups.
Use your head.
Two, I think Wolf seemed a bit too different from the first movie, and also the exclusion of Dana Cummings, his love interest in the first movie, sucked. Now, the exclusion only sucked because he was trying to find some sort of love in the second movie.
I think I'm falling in love with you.
And that doesn't make sense, since he was already finding love with Dana in the original, so it just kind of felt like they forgot about her. Plus, an article that I read about why she wasn't in this movie said that the filmmakers said it was because they wanted to focus on the brothers' relationship. If that's the case, why bring up love at all? I get that one very funny scene came from him trying to find love in the second movie, but it kind of felt like an afterthought.
I meant to do that.
Like the filmmakers were trying to put out fires as to why the actress wasn't in the second movie even though she was in the original. I mean, there was no end credit scene about her or post credit scene or even a mention of Dana in this movie. Nothing. The movie just acted like she didn't exist. And I don't think that would happen in someone's brain who's like Christian Wolf.
My brain doesn't work the same as yours does.
But other than that, I did find myself enjoying this movie. And thankfully too, because the original was so good. But that's just my initial review of the movie. Keep on watching to hear the full review and whether or not you want to give this movie a shot. There will be spoilers in the reasons for the rating.
You have been warned.
Now let's get this party started.
I mean, really, let's do this, mother!
First up is acting, which I give a 7 out of 10. I thought the acting was pretty good in this movie. Everyone seemed real and the comeback characters seemed basically just as they were in the original. Although, sometimes Wolf seemed a bit different to me than in the original. He just seemed way more put together concerning his condition than in the original, and we didn't get to see a lot of his idiosyncrasies either.
He looks like a weirdie.
He seemed more like Batman than Bruce Wayne, if you get what I'm saying. His flaws didn't seem to slow him down. In fact, in some aspects, it didn't seem like they bothered him at all. And that's a far cry from the original. I just liked seeing the accountant more than the vigilante. And I miss him. His brain was so powerful in the original, and it was shown full force, and we didn't get a lot of that in the second.
You know, he's so smart and...
It was more of them showing his physical attributes, and yeah, the relationship between him and his brother. But it is called The Accountant, so give us more accounting, come on. But, all that being said, as a whole, he still did feel like Wolf. He still had his little quirks here and there, and he was still fairly socially inept. Everyone acted well, and I still had moments of shock because of the good acting, and yeah, the good story.
It will be bold, dramatic.
Now for the story and script, which I give a 7 out of 10. Like I said before, I think that the story and script was very good for this movie. For a continuation of the story, this seemed pretty logical, and a good bridge between the two. Another mystery that only the accountant can solve because there's only a few little pieces and scraps to the puzzle, and also justice for a semi-longtime friend being murdered? Sign me up.
Sounds like a good time to me.
Obviously, there was some movie magic moments, like all of the tech in the movie, or where the final fight, mostly everyone comes out unscathed. But you want that in a movie. Also, the alternative of all of the main characters dying would have been something that I would have walked out on.
Oh, I can't watch this.
It's not necessary, it's stupid, and if you're only doing it to elicit a response from the audience, grow up. Find something else. You're a writer, aren't you? You can do better than that. But they didn't do it, so we're good. I mean, the main three didn't die, and they all got to walk off into the sunset at the end. And to me, that's a pretty good ending. Now, there was a specific character death that I did see coming. I mean, it was shockingly obvious.
It's so clear now.
And yeah, it sucked, but I suppose it did jumpstart the movie. Do I think there could have been a better way to jumpstart the movie without the specific character death? Yeah. But what are you gonna do? I do wish Dana Cummings was in this movie, but they did say that they were more focused on the brothers' relationship.
That's for another time.
The thing that made the least sense in this movie, and I kind of wish wasn't a part of it, was the addition of the kids helping Justine. You know, his helper behind the computer, who had the British computer voice. To have a squad of children aiding and abetting in criminal activity, even if it is for the greater good, just feels like grooming, and I don't like it. I don't think it's okay.
Think of the children!
I know it was nothing nefarious in the movie, I mean that's pretty obvious, but why include that? Why not keep it just Justine? She was perfect in the first movie. He was doing fine with just her for the entire first movie, and for goodness knows how long, because it was just him and her. Why expand? And, you know, bring in kids to do that. Do you see the problem here?
Got to be a safety violation.
I mean, why are we introducing children to things that show up in the criminal world? Like murder, human trafficking. Why do kids need to see that? Simply put, children should never be involved in things like this. Whether indirectly or directly. Never. I don't get it. I didn't like it. It's completely unnecessary. Why is it in this movie?
Why? Why?
Now for the theme, which I also give a 7 out of 10. I think the theme revolves mostly around family and, you know, a little bit of justice, you know, for bringing down the bad guys. I think the family aspect is nice. The relationship explored between Christian and Braxton. And, slight spoiler, the relationship between the trafficked woman and her son. Spoiler now over. The movie did give us a nice relationship between Christian and Braxton, but it did kind of soil what was already there by retconning the first movie. I mean, I think that's kind of dumb to do, to just get rid of, like, the ending to the first movie and just have them start from scratch again. It wasn't necessary. It's not like their relationship was perfect just because they met up a week later.
Oh, definitely not.
You still could have had a strained relationship at the start of the second movie without taking away what was already laid down in the first. They had no reason to say that Wolf just forgot to meet up with his brother a week later. That's so highly unlikely. And why?
Was that necessary?
Now for the details, which I also give a 7 out of 10. The details in this movie were good. They still showed the little thing that Wolf does before certain things, you know, but I only think they showed it once, which is kind of too bad. Along with having, you know, one fork, one knife, one spoon in his utensil thing, and the same exact meal that he's been having for forever for breakfast.
And remember, he only eats raisins.
Plus, all of the sets and the locations seemed on point for this movie. For a standalone movie, that was all pretty great. But after seeing the original, I feel like they could have put in a little bit more care. I mean, Wolf had way more idiosyncrasies and details in the first movie to show who he was, especially the scenes with his medication and the immersion therapy. Does he just not do that anymore? I'm cured! Plus, he went to a honky-tonk in the middle of the movie. That's a place with extremely loud noises and a cacophony of things going on, and he seemed absolutely fine. Look, it's okay if his problems have lessened, but I think we need more of a bridge to connect the first and the second movie.
I'm a little lost.
I mean, if the man hadn't changed that much in 40-ish years, because I'm sure his character was in his late 30s to 40s in the first movie, then he shouldn't have changed so rapidly and so much between the first and the second movie. My point is, he should still have some stuff going on that we should be able to see. Also, the first movie had, like,
A certain je ne sais quoi.
that I missed in the second. Like this one scene where Wolf is standing in front of a painting along with this man. Wolf is in front of the robot part of the painting and the man is in front of the human part of the painting. It's subtle, but it's nice. It's a parallel to who they were at that moment in time. I saw that from only watching the first movie once. I mean, that was my first time watching it, and I just didn't really see any of that in the second movie. I also wish he wore his glasses more often in the second movie.
Hey, my glasses! I can't see without them!
But that's just a personal me thing. He just seemed like a different character completely when his glasses were off. And he wore his glasses more often in the first movie, so.
They should be around here somewhere.
Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty of the full review. So here's your spoiler warning right now.
Spoiler alert.
And let's get into the reasons for the rating. This movie was an R-rated action thriller. And yeah, they did a pretty good job with rating their movie. So let's talk about that.
Drugs and alcohol.
Some characters drank beer here now and then in this movie. I don't remember seeing any cigarettes, but there could have been. Point is, nobody got drunk or intoxicated in any way.
The gross stuff.
The only gross things in this movie could have been like the police photos, you know, of scenes and stuff, because some of them were kind of brutal and a little bit gruesome at times. And there were a few headshots in this movie, but they weren't that bad. Also, there was a close-up of some man's toes, and they were nasty. Goodness.
Sex, baby.
So there wasn't any sex content in the terms of couples, but there was this one scene where Braxton was naked besides having on underwear, and from certain angles, it was clear he was a man. I'm only gonna say that.
That's okay, I get it.
I don't think it was necessary for the movie, and even though it's not exactly nudity, I still didn't want to see it. Put on clothes. Please. Also, there were 3 trafficked women who were being forced to be prostitutes, so they were in kind of skimpy clothing, you know, the whole shebang. Nothing happened, we just saw that they were there. And also, lastly, there was this one old guy who was only wearing a towel because he came out of the shower. I feel like that should be in the gross thing too.
Language.
You know, after watching the first movie, which is the same rating by the way, R, I realized as a society, we have become a lot more lax in the amount of swears in R-rated movies. We've just allowed them more often in our media. That kind of sucks. Literally half of the F words came from one scene because Braxton was having a meltdown about a dog.
Do you know any other words?
Anyway, there were 52 F words, 10 heavy uses of the Lord's name in vain, 9 S words, 3 B words, 1 D word, and 2 others. Not as much as some movies, but it's still a lot. I kind of want to go back to the first movie and count them all up just to see the difference. I'm gonna put the difference all right here.
Time for violence.
If you've seen the first movie, which is like 99% likely because why watch a sequel without watching the first movie? That's crazy. Then you know this movie's gonna be violent.
No, duh.
Honestly, the violence in this movie is just an elevated version of the violence in the first movie with a couple of more fight scenes. Because it is 2025, the details have become a whole lot better than 2016.
It's like a whole new world out there.
Come on, this is a movie about an underground world with contract killers, human traffickers, and murderers, plus law enforcement, so this movie is violent. There were a good few gunfights and physical altercations in this movie, resulting in several on-screen deaths and headshots.
Did I shoot him right between the eyes?
Plus, the police photos are quite brutal in some cases. They kind of show a lot. But the big things are that Ray King was shot dead in the beginning of the movie, R.I.P. J.K. Simmons. Medina gets stabbed in the gut but survives, thankfully.
But I'm still just happy you're alive.
And Braxton gets shot in the shoulder and also survives. Plus, all of the trafficked kids at the end get saved. No kid gets hurt in the making of this movie.
Boy, you had me worried there for a second.
Overall, I give this movie a 7 out of 10. You had to see that coming. This movie was good. Now, I think if someone saw this movie without seeing the first movie, they would mostly understand what was going on. I mean, there would have been some confusing things because you kind of need the information from the first movie to get it, but it's a good enough movie that I feel like it can stand well enough on its own, which is good. Now, with that being said, if you only had the choice between the first and the second movie to watch the first movie. Not saying that the second movie is bad, the first movie is just much better. I would probably watch the second one again, but not anytime soon. I'd really rather watch the first one again, especially because of the scenes between Dana and Wolf. I think they were very nice. And I hope if they make a third movie that they bring her back. And please let it be good if they do a third.
Wrap that up and give it to a child on Christmas, because we're done.
Thank you all so much for watching this review. If you want to see more videos like this, click the box right here because I have a playlist of all of my movie reviews so far. And also, you should totally click this box right here because that's my last review all about The Legend of Ochi. Spoiler alert, it was a snooze fest. Click my face right here and you can go straight to my channel. And soon something fun is gonna be happening. I put out videos every Monday and Friday, so keep on a lookout. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and just remember, right here at Candid Cinema, it's okay to talk, it's okay to text, and I will CC you later. Bye!